Welcome back to another NFL hotfix video. What is this? Well, basically the idea is what if the NFL was like a video game or a software where you download a day one patch before you start using it, and we're going to be doing the same thing. We're just going to be going over the teams, checking them out, and just applying those hot fixes, if you would, to the team setup. Just kind of iron out everything, make them even more well built for the upcoming season. All right, so looking at the Texans, we do see that they have a very high rating, an interestingly high rating on offense 84 and defense 81. And they have brought in fantastic new weapons for CJ Stroud. Joe Mixon is here now. Stephon Diggs is here. This is a really great addition. But one thing that I do see is that the offensive line could use a little bit of work, a little bit of help here. The defensive side of things certainly is a little bit more solid looking, I would say, even if there are two positions that immediately hit me. One, of course, is the outside linebacker with a 75 rating, but this is a very young player, so that should work. But over here, I think we need to add some level of experience to the right outside linebacking position. Apart from that, everything looks quite good on this view. We're just going to be diving into it real quick, checking out the roster in more detail, because that's often where the devil lies. CJ Stroud, quarterback, of course, there's nothing to do here. We also have these two players here. We've got the running back, Joe Mixon, we've got Damian Pierce and J.J. Taylor. This is a very nice setup. I like this. Andrew Beck as a solid fullback. The wide receiving group is really nice. 1, 2, and 3 are really well set. Now we've got Noah Brown back here. We've got Joe Mechay III. So this is basically a group that I'm not going to be touching. The tight end, Dalton Schultz. We've got Brevin Jordan and we've got Tegan Quitoriano. Both work quite well. And Dalton Schultz certainly got to be good enough here. Left tackle Laramie Tunsil, 29.94. Still good enough for this season, for the next season, and the season after that probably. On left guard for Titus Howard, 27.74, and Kendrick Green, 24.71, and Kenyon Green, 22.69. This is a little bit of a strange one, I have to say. Not really too happy with Titus Howard, to be brutally honest. On center, we've got Hugh Scruggs, 23.69, and Jared Patterson. On right guard, Shaq Mason, 30 and 82, Dietrich Iselin. And on right tackle, we've got Blake Fisher, 20 and 70. That's rookie Nick Broker behind him. I personally do think that Blake Fisher, being very young, this is actually not too horrible because he should be learning quite quickly. A situation that I'm not too happy about is the guard, probably, and of course the center position. I do think that needs a little bit of a buff here. The Shaq Mason situation over on right guard is going to be good enough for this season. So let's just remember that. On edge, we don't have any depth, so that's something that we certainly need to add. Behind Will Anderson, right edge, we've got Daniil Hunter, 28 and 91. We've got Derek Barnett and Dylan Horton over here. D tackle Danico Autry, 33.79. This is certainly one that is a little bit of a questionable one. We do have Lorenzo Fadakazi behind him, so that again kind of mitigates that. Left outside linebacker Christian Harris, 22.75. That's good enough here. Mid linebacker Assis Alshair, fantastic choice. And the backup players here, good enough as well. Right outside linebacker is Neville Hewitt, 30 and 68. This is an absolute no-go. We certainly have to address this one here. There is no thing that's positive about this. Corners, CB1, CB2, looking good enough. We've got Jeff Okuda, we've got Kamari Lassiter, good looking players. I like the cornerback room overall. Free safety, Jalen Peter, fantastic stuff right there. And on strong safety, Jimmy Ward, that's a veteran, works good, works enough, works well enough. Jesus Christ, can't even put the words out there. In my opinion, MJ Stewart is certainly something that I would address at a later date, but not right now. I think for the time being, this is going to be good enough. I try to keep these things realistic, so we're not going to go totally crazy here, but I will certainly start addressing certain parts of this team that I do see as rather critical. I personally would, if we're going to say that Kendrick Green is good enough as a young player and Kenyon Green behind him, I'm going to put Titus Howard either out of the team, but seeing that penalty, I think that wouldn't be clever. So I will be using Titus Howard as a center player. Can he do that? Well, I think he should be able to, seeing how he's a veteran. That should also help us on that position, I certainly hope. And it buffs it a little bit. It's not really a crazy big jump, but for the time being, I think this is just going to be good enough. We're looking at the right guard. We're looking at the right tackle. That's good enough as well. On left edge, we need some help. On right edge, we do have more players that we actually need. So I do feel like we will be able to backfill a little bit here. We're going to be putting Derek Barnett over onto that left edge position just to create the depth that we need there. And then I think that we've got the edges set pretty well. As far as other positions go, D-tackle, we could tinker with this a little bit. I think the Nico Autry is a little bit surplus if we've got full Lorenzo here. So that could be something that we work with. We certainly have to do something about the right outside linebacker. That is a horrible situation to be in. Yeah, strong safety is something where we could work on the depth. But yeah, let's just dive into this. Let's see what we can do. So there we go. We're sending Hewitt to the Ravens, along with 2 4th-rounders and a 2nd-rounder for next year's draft. We're getting David Ojabo, who's 23, 71 rated, startup trait. The thing is that they do have other players on that position that are higher rated, so he's not a starter right now. Here he would get to be a starter, and the Ravens get a solid backup player, I would say. Nothing more than that. Alright, next deal done. This one is a little bit more of a depth deal. We're sending Stewart Jr. to the Broncos, along with a 4th-rounder for next season. And we're getting Caden Stearns. You'll see in a second why I did this one here. Alright, take a look at the HOTFIX Texans. It's a team that didn't really need too much external workings, I would say. It's just some shuffling and reworking of certain parts of the team. The rookie, of course, over on the right tackle, it doesn't make sense to draft someone and then not let him play, so that's why he stays in. He's very young, so that should actually improve pretty quickly. We've got Shaq Mason over here on right guard. We've got Titus Howard now at center. He's 72 rated, so slightly higher rated than Juice Scruggs and Jared Patterson, but I do think that both of these will be growing, should be viable options come the end of the season. We've got Kendrick Green and Kenyon Green over here on the left guard. I personally would be using Kenyon Green here because the starting trait will enable him to grow a little bit quicker. But then again, if we're simming, a higher overall usually helps. But again, Kenyon Green should be overtaking pretty soon. Apart from that, the offense is looking fantastic. The weapons are great. The question is the offensive line good enough to offer protection for CJ Stroud? That's just the big question right there. On defense, we didn't really have to do a lot. I brought in David Ojabo to fix that right outside linebacker position. He's a younger player. He's got a startup trait. He will improve. And now I think that this is a way more stable and solid looking linebacking group here. The D tackles and the edges are absolutely gold, really fantastic. We could improve this one here a little bit, but to be honest, we're trying to stay realistic, and there's not going to be too many splash trades. And this one here, Caden Stearns, is more of a depth situational thing that I'm not really looking for right now. But I just didn't like this setup with Jimmy Ward and the pretty old player back here that was around 70 rated. So Caden Stearns is a good understudy, should be able to grow over the course of the season, take over from Jimmy Ward later on. So there we go. That's basically the HOTFIX team. I do feel like we kind of improved that offensive line, just stability-wise. But do let me know what you think of the changes we made. What would you have done differently? Let me know what you think of this format. Drop it down in the comments below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for joining me. Drop a like. Please subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay awesome and see you next time.
Bye.